Brother, have you ever noticed how quickly your brain clings onto the past experiences? Like that one crazy ex-girlfriend you had who brings up someone's past in a relationship even though they're in the wrong. Like seriously, your brain plays the same scene over and over again. Like the time you relapsed, the time you failed, that day where everything went wrong. It plays back so many times in your mind that you start to believe that your future is doomed to be just another sequel of your past. And to be honest, I used to believe that too. I used to think that if I messed up on something, especially with some addictions I had, right, then my whole life would just be tainted. That my identity as a man, my true self, was no longer valid. And brother, I had no idea how much damage that belief was doing to me mentally. As, let me take you back when I was younger and deep into self-improvement. I convinced myself that unless I reached 5 or more days without relapsing to pornography, I wasn't my real self. And anything less than 5 days, I would consider myself fake. I made myself think I was broken. I told myself I wasn't capable of succeeding in schools and friendships or even life if I couldn't beat this addiction properly. And so, guess what the stupid thing I used to do? I started to isolate myself completely. I told myself I'll come back to life on day 5. That's when I'll be able to be whole again. As when I reached day 5, that's when all the guiltiness of that relapse got off me. That's when I could socialize with my friends, and as day 5 would be the day where I would be my true self. So, I would sit in my room, turning down my plans with people, ignoring people, and just pretending I was grinding, when really, I was just surviving. But here's the problem though. Isolation is gonna make the urge worse, as by the time I get to day 4, for example, the tension in my body would just increase rapidly. I would be so focused on avoiding the urge that it was like the only thing I could think about. And on day 5, right when I should have felt liberated, free, just like the America, I would crack. Just one video, just one scroll, and then boom, another relapse. And just like that, I'm back to day 0. And it just became a cycle of shame, a loop of guilt, and I wasn't living anymore. I was just surviving between checkpoints that I made up in my own head. And if you enjoy my type of content, please make sure to like and subscribe, as it helps me out a ton and you'll be able to see more from me in the future. Anyways, back to the video. Fast forward to my gap year. Something finally snapped. I realized that I was treating my identity like a countdown timer. Like I needed to hit some arbitrary number of clean days before I allowed myself to be my true self. But one day, I said these 3 things. Why on earth do I need a number to prove who I am? Why on earth do I need to restrict myself from hanging out with my good friends? And why on earth do I need to make myself worse for relapsing each time? And I stopped chasing these streaks after that. I stopped tying my self-worth to some counter in my head. Whether if I relapse or not, I was still me. I could still do the work. I could still socialize. I could still live. And that tiny mindset shift changed everything for me. All of a sudden, the guilt wasn't as loud. The shame didn't hit as hard. And I started making better decisions. Not because I feared relapsing or something, but because I wasn't obsessed with avoiding it anymore. Before we continue with the video, make sure you comment this random word down below to let me know that you're a real one and made it this far. Anyways, back to the video. And here's the raw truth no one really talks about. The reason most people keep relapsing isn't because they're weak. It's because they've attached their identity to the addiction. They think if I mess up, then I'm a failure. And I kind of blame this on the self-improvement industry, on the no-fap part of it, right? Where they say you have to reach to a certain number, and if you don't reach that certain number, then that's when you failed. You relapsed again. You make you feel guilty about yourself again and again. But that's not true. That is just your brain playing tricks on you. But I do get it. Your brain wants to protect you. It uses your past mistakes to warn you. And when you do relapse, it'll make you feel guilty. But it uses this as a hopeful sign to hopefully warn you about next time when you do this, just to make sure that you remember these guilty feelings that you had towards it. But if you keep defining yourself by your past, you will never be free enough to build your future. Now what worked for me wasn't me acting like Timmy Tough Knuckles over here, on my way through the urges, pretending like I was above the temptations and addictions. It was me deciding my value wasn't determined by whether I slipped up or not today.
What do I want?
And that mindset freed me. I started being productive again. I socialized my friends again. I edited videos again. And I just moved forward. Not because I was on day 6 or day 10, for example, but because I stopped making it about the day count. Well, what's even crazier to think about is that that mindset started to leak into other parts of my life. I would try something and fail. Fair. But before I would have said, oh, I always mess up. I'm just not good at this. I'm not cut out for this. Well, now I acknowledge the mistake. I take it as a lesson and just try to keep moving forward. And that's what your brain is meant to do. Use the past as information, not as your future identity. And the more I saw of that, the more hopeful I became. I stopped being scared of repeating this past and just started being excited to build something new. Even if it was unfamiliar, even if it was scary, as I no longer needed to fear failure. I just saw it for what it is, a stepping stone, a slight step back for a major comeback.
And it's just a minor setback for major comeback.
So brother, if you're stuck in this cycle right now, whether it's pornography, junk food, laziness, overthinking, whatever it is, ask yourself this. Am I using my past as a prison for myself or as a lesson for the future? As if you keep reliving the same mistakes again and again, you're just punishing yourself. You're not actually healing from anything, you'll just torture yourself even more into that trap. But if you take those mistakes, extract the lessons and just keep moving forward in life, you'll gain that momentum again. You'll become someone new, someone stronger. Not because you never messed up, but because you didn't let the mess define you. So let go of that guilt, let go of that number chasing, and start living like your future isn't chained to your past. Because brother, it's not. You are free, so start acting like it. You can book a free one-on-one call with me in the description below if you ever need to talk about what's going on in your mind or potentially spark up some solutions to your problems. And if you're unsure about having this one-on-one call with me, I have some reviews here